Welcome back to the Brew Sportscast. I'm Scar. This is Ray. This is the fantasy portion, and we're going to be previewing Week 7 for all of our fantasy players. You know, our trust, bust, and thrust players. We obviously aren't going to be reviewing any because we didn't have an episode this past week. So, like normal, we're just going to run through the trust, bust, thrust of each position. And so we'll just start off with quarterback. So I guess I go first, right?
You can go first.
Okay. So my quarterback category for the trust, I have Joe Burrow
Okay,
versus Atlanta.
I like that.
He scored 32.5 points last week. Atlanta is somewhat showing that their offense is capable of scoring points.
Mariota.
So I think that's going to be a high-scoring shootout there.
Speaking of Atlanta, really quick, I have to start Mariota in I think it's in your league because Allen is on a bye.
Oh, nice.
And I can guarantee that win already to Bobby because I have Buffalo. 3 players on Buffalo on a bye.
Oh, dang.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm in I know this off topic, but that vampire league I'm in, where if the vampire beats you, they can steal your best player.
Oh.
He hasn't won yet.
Oh, wow.
Brandon Woodall.
Has he been close?
No. The closest he's been is like within like 20 points.
Oh.
Like he played me this past week and I beat him by like 50 points.
Is there a punishment in that league because of the vampire thing, or
what do you mean?
Like, is there a punishment for coming in last?
No, I don't think so. I think last place becomes the vampire next season.
That's right. That's cool.
So, anyways, the team he's playing this week has 5 starters on bye week.
Oh no!
So he's already like telling the kid like, "Hey, I hope you're ready to lose because I'm taking Justin Jefferson from you." Like, imagine losing to him and having to give up Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't want to see the vampire win, but I also am sort of excited. I sort of want to see him have to give up Justin Jefferson just to throw some blood in the water.
All right, back.
All right, so
on topic.
Next is bust. My bust this week is actually weird since I picked Green Bay to win versus Washington. I'm picking Aaron Rodgers as a bust.
Really?
He put up 11 points last week, and I don't know. I just don't. They're playing.
No,
who did they play last week?
I don't remember.
No, it was. Who did they just lose to? Was it the Jets?
Yes.
Was it the Jets?
It was the Jets.
Yeah.
At home.
And they only put up, I think, 10 points or something against the Jets.
Something like that.
So I just don't have much faith in him right now. Yeah, I know I'm probably going to regret it, especially seeing what you put. But, yeah, Aaron Rodgers is my bust, and I'm sure I'll be getting the bullshit button hit on me for that one.
Yeah.
And my thrust is another one you won't agree with.
Who?
Marcus Mariota versus Cincy.
I thought about that.
Who you said you have to start.
Yeah, I thought
he
about
put up
that.
24 points this last week. He's going against Cincy. Like I said, I think it's going to be a high-scoring shootout. And I have faith, not saying he's going to be some elite quarterback from here on out, but I have faith that at least he can continue to produce or has at least a chance to produce, and I think he'll do it this week versus Cincy.
That was your thrust?
Yeah.
Okay, my turn. All right.
Why are you covering them up?
I don't want you to see. You keep looking over here. All right, my trust this week is your bust in Aaron Rodgers. He's playing Washington, who is basically fighting for their lives to win games. You know, the backup quarterback. I think Rodgers is going to have a good game this week. Now, I mean, if you have better quarterbacks, play them. But if you're in a deeper league, go with Rodgers if you have no other choice. My bust is Jimmy Garoppolo against Kansas City.
Okay.
They just they lost to, I don't remember who they played. So many teams we pay attention to, but they lost and they didn't play well. So he's my bust this week against Kansas City.
Did they lose to Carolina?
No, they beat Carolina. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Wait, no, Carolina played the Rams.
You're right.
That was the week before they played.
Yeah. Keep going on.
I think the 49ers lost. I don't know.
They did. I definitely know they did. They lost against somebody who you didn't expect them to lose to.
Okay. Well, oh crap! Sorry, guys. My thrust this week. You may not like this.
Falcons.
Yeah, they lost to Marcus Mariota. My thrust this week. You may not like Daniel Jones. If you have a deeper league and you can't find anybody
Where's
to
that
start.
bullshit button?
And if you can't find anybody to start, go with Daniel Jones. The Jags defense has been very vulnerable in the passing game. Matt Ryan threw over 300 yards. Granted, he threw it almost 60 times. So I would go with Daniel Jones as my thrust if you didn't have anybody else to go with.
Yeah, if you didn't have like anybody else, like if all the quarterbacks on the waivers were hurt, then
Hey, I'm just trying to help people out here.
All right, moving on to the running backs. All right, my trust is Kenneth Walker versus the Chargers.
Okay.
He put up 19 points. He solidified the starter. I think Chargers have proven that they allow running backs to put up numbers on them.
Yeah.
So I think Kenneth Walker.
How did they do last night?
Hmm?
The Chargers defense against running backs. Don't know.
Well,
that Boone guy didn't get a lot of action.
Yeah,
for
I lost
Denver.
the prize
And
picks
Gordon,
because of him.
yeah, Gordon didn't get a lot of action.
No, but there's the other. Who came in? Was it Latavius Murray?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he must have done well.
All right, my bust is I'm not gonna like this. James Robinson versus the Giants.
Man, oh man, I thought about that.
6.5 points last week. He put up under 7 points the last 3 weeks. It's clear that as far as my choice for him is not because of his skill set. I still think he's a great running back, and I don't think we use him enough. But it's clear that as far as the strategy, offensive play calling, they are starting to lean more and more on Travis Etienne and cut James Robinson out.
I was about to ask you if you think, like my brother said, if Etienne's taking over the number one spot at running back, do you think it's going to happen?
I think it is. I think they're relying more. I think Etienne is moving into the number one running back and the third down running back, and James Robinson is moving into more of just the power back role. Like 3rd and 1, whatever. Like he's in there to give Etienne breaks, and he's there for power downs.
Yeah.
So he's my bust this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping it works for the Jags, but for as far as fantasy, yeah, I wouldn't be starting James Robinson, not after 3 weeks straight of under 7 fantasy points. Like he has to. He's one of those players like you usually do with the Jags players that you sit him until he can he gets out there and does like a 14+ point game and proves that he's worthy. Yep. My thrust this week is it Brian? Yeah, Brian Robinson versus Green Bay.
Okay.
I mean, he put up 12 points last week. It's clear that he coming after his injury that he is the premier
what his
back.
Injury was, right?
Yeah, getting shot in the leg.
Yeah.
Which is crazy that he's back from that. But so I think he's gonna start to be the premier running back there, and I think he'll do well against Green Bay.
Nice. My trust at running back. You're not gonna like this.
Mm-hmm.
Saquon Barkley.
Wow. So you're just gonna pick all Giants players
as my trust in running back. I mean, granted, we have a decent run defense, but if our defense gets worn down by all the 3 and outs the offense does, he's going to have a big game. My bust this week against Tampa Bay is Christian McCaffrey. I mean, like I said earlier, I don't know if it was earlier on this episode or whatever, but Carolina's a dumpster fire. They're trying to get rid of McCaffrey, So I mean, I think he's going to be a bust.
McCaffrey. Imagine if McCaffrey went to Buffalo.
Good Lord.
Gosh.
Just hand him the trophy. And my thrust this week is Dameon Pierce against Vegas.
Dameon Pierce against Vegas. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's proven to be a really good running back, so I think he's going to have a big game.
Next time you're going to write the points down that they did.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I forgot. I'm writing the opponents. But yeah, that's my running backs.
Okay, that seems pretty good. I don't know about CMC as a bust, but he seems like the only thing good happening on that offense. But we'll see. All right, moving on to wide receivers. So my trust this week is Tyreek Hill versus Pittsburgh. He put up 29.7 points last week. Tua is going to be back.
Really? With a backup quarterback, he put up 29?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's the number one receiver right now.
Mm-hmm.
Tua is going to be back, so I think that's he's going to be at least consistent with what he's been doing, or even greater, which is hard to fathom. That's like he's going to be putting up like Cooper Cup numbers last year. So he's my trust this week versus Pittsburgh.
All right.
My bust this week is DJ Moore versus Tampa Bay. I've been here before once or twice, but he put up 3.7 points last week. And like he's been saying, Carolina is not looking good, and I just don't have faith to ever start him. It doesn't matter who they're playing.
Wasn't that a couple weeks ago you had Robbie Anderson as a thrust?
Yeah.
And one of our friends listened to it, and then it screwed him over in his match.
Yeah, and he had DJ Moore. Moore went off. He like switched him.
Yeah.
And then it turned out after that.
And that is why he is 1-5, guys. That is why he's 1-5.
No, I just won.
Huh?
I just won.
I'm not talking about you.
Oh.
I'm talking about Max.
Oh, Max.
Max listened to you.
Just call him out.
Yeah, and you went 1-5.
Yeah. All right, and then my thrust this week is Juju Smith-Schuster. Now, the reason why I say he's a thrust, I know household name normally, like in years past, you would say, well, he's already a proven receiver. He should be a trust.
Starter.
But he hasn't put up numbers this year, and nobody trusted if he was going to be the main receiver or not in Kansas City. Well, he just put up 22.3. So him versus San Francisco, after the showing that San Fran just had, I think he definitely, if you have Smith-Schuster this week, that you start him.
I think he's their number one.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry. Kelsey is their number one.
Right.
And then it's Smith-Schuster.
Yeah. Yeah.
My turn?
Yeah.
All right. My trust at wide receiver is Jamar Chase against Atlanta. I think since he finally last week against New Orleans, they came back and got the win. I think they're just going to start getting things rolling and just start cruising through their division and the rest of their games. My bust this week is DJ Moore against Tampa Bay. Right. Yeah. Like I said, dumpster fire. And who's their quarterback? PJ Walker. So, I mean, I don't even know if he's their starter this week. But, yeah. DJ Moore is my bust against Tampa. And they
might as well just fucking run the Wildcat and put Christian McCaffrey at quarterback.
Yeah. My thrust this week, I've noticed since the Steelers have started Pickett a couple games, George Pickens has picked it up a little bit. Now, Pickett may not play this week because he was hurt last week, but I still go with Pickens as my thrust. If you have like a flex player on a bye or something like that, just throw him in. He'll give you, in my eyes, a solid 10 points.
Yeah.
So that's my thrust for the week, and George Pickens against Miami.
If you have any Bills players like Gabe Davis or Stephon Diggs out on a bye, throw in Pickens.
I think 2 or 3 of my 4 teams has one or the other of those guys.
Yeah. I have Jalen Hurts on a bye this week, but luckily I got Lamar Jackson on the same team.
Lucky son of a gun.
All right, moving on to tight ends. So my trust for tight end is Zach Ertz versus New Orleans. Okay. He put up 14 points last week. D-Hop is back from suspension. Yep. Most people will be like, well, won't that hurt his production? I think on the contrary, D-Hop is going to be taking attention away from him, and he will get more catches because of it, because they will be focusing on D-Hop more. Right. So I think Zach Ertz is my trust this week. My bust is Hayden Hurst for Cincy against Atlanta. He put up 5.1 points last week, and T. Higgins is back, which means this is sort of the opposite effect I've just said of where D-Hop will take attention away and Ertz can shine. It's been proven in the past that when you have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Boyd all healthy, the tight end does not get as much action. It goes to those 3. So I think Hurst putting up 5.1 last week with Higgins out, now that Higgins is probably going to be back, worse. I think he may not do worse, but he's not going to do good. My thrust this week is Kittle versus Kansas City. Now, listen to me. This goes along the same lines of Juju Smith-Schuster. The reason why he is a thrust, even though normally household name he would be a trust, is because he sucked all season. So you normally wouldn't start him unless that's your only option. He's one of those players, if you've been starting him, then you might want to look at what tight ends are on the waivers, because he's one of those players that you should have been sitting him until he had his proving week. And this week at 16.3 points, I think, was it. So
what was Atlanta? and they're playing Kansas City.
Okay. Isn't Kansas City a high-scoring offense?
Not really. They just put up 20 against the Bills.
Well,
And
Bills
the Bills
has a
have a
tough.
bad defense. The Bills have a half-hurt defense.
They're still a tough defense.
We'll see. We'll see if you're right or wrong.
All right.
That was your thrust?
Yep.
Okay, my turn. My trust at tight end this week, mostly like every other week, is Travis Kelce.
Dang, could you pick anything easier?
I mean, it's obvious. He's playing San Francisco, and he's Kansas City's number one, so why not? He's the trust. My bust is David Njoku against Baltimore. I think Baltimore is going to just dominate Cleveland. Cleveland is on their way to being another, how do I say this? They're back on their way to being a dumpster fire. So David Njoku is my bust. My thrust, along with my trust at quarterback, my thrust is Robert Tonyan against Washington. Tonyan, I'm pretty sure, had a good game this past week, even though they lost. And he's reliable to Rodgers, so I feel like he's going to have a solid 10-plus point game against Washington, maybe even score a touchdown.
Yeah.
That's my trust, bust, and thrust for tight ends.
All right. Well, hopefully this helped out y'all with your fantasy this week. If you choose to listen to me or Ray, either way, at least we give you some good ideas and update you on some players that, may be going into sticky situations. So, like always, if you know us, you can hit us up personally and talk crap or whatever.
Or leave comments.
Nobody's
leaving comments. I want to be active in the comments section.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Yeah, leave comments. And that's about it. So, until next time.
I'm Raymond.
I'm Scar. This is the Brew Sportscast. Keep it brewing.